All right, class. So we're on the Chapter 4 assessment breakdown, and now we're going to refer to the two distance questions that they were asking us on the assessment. If you look at the first question tells us that point E is located at this coordinates, and point T is located at these two coordinates. And they want to know what is the length of segment ET. Remember, if they're asking you what the length of ET is, they're asking you the distance from point E to point T. And then they make sure that they're specific, that they tell us to round our answers to the nearest tenth. Let's take a look here. The first thing I should do when I ever have a set of coordinates is that I should label them. This is my X, this is my Y, this is my X, this is my Y. This is my first X, my first Y, my second X, my second Y. And now here, I have my distance formula, which is on the reference sheet, but you don't have to memorize it. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in. X number 2 is 12, minus X number 1, which is 3, and that's going to be squared, plus Y number 2, which is 3, minus Y number 1, which is 8, and that's also going to be squared. 12 minus 3 is 9 to the second power. 3 minus 8 is negative 5 to the second power. 9 squared is 81, plus negative 5 squared is 25. When I add those two together, 81 plus 25, I get 106. Don't forget, all of this is happening where? Underneath the square root sign. So I have to take the square root of 106. And that gives me 10.29. But remember, they're asking me to round to the nearest tenth. The nearest tenth is 2, and it's followed by a 9. So that would give me 10.3. The next question about the distance formula says that a television crew set up lights located at points B, K, and F as shown, that the camera is located at point C, and that a chair is located at point S. And here's a diagram that they give us. So we have all these lights, and it tells us what the chair is. And then finally, the question says, what is the distance from the light located at point F to the light located at point B? So they want to know how far it is from this point to that point. Well, in order to do that, we need some information. We need some coordinates. If we look here, the coordinates of point F are, here's my origin, 1, 2 to the left, so my x-coordinate is negative 2, and then I just go up 1, so it's comma 1. So my coordinates are negative 2 and positive 1. And if I look here at letter B, here's my origin, I go 1 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So my coordinates are 1 and 6. Now that I have this information, I can move on to solving it for the distance formula. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label them x and y, x and y. I know that this is my first x and my first y. This is my second x and my second y. And now that I've done that, I can plug it into my distance formula, which is d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And remember, you don't have to memorize this. This is on your reference sheet. Now I'm going to plug in the information. X number 2 is 1 minus x number 1 is negative 2. That's going to be squared plus y number 2 is 6 minus y number 1 is 1. That's going to be squared. Let me just set up my parentheses here. Now, I have two negative signs, and I know that a negative of a negative is a positive, so really I have 1 plus 2 squared. And I'm going to have 6 minus 1 squared. Well, 1 plus 2 is 3, and that's going to be squared. And 6 minus 1 is 5, and that's going to be squared. 3 squared is 9. 5 squared is 25. 9 plus 25 is 34. But remember, we're looking for the square root of 34. So it would be the square root of 34. And it depends how they want me to answer my answer. If they want it in the square root, I'll give it to them in the square root. If they want me to round to the nearest decimal, I can do that as well. It just depends how they want the answer, but this is how I would go about getting it.